I'm the Jury Saver, and this is my emergency fund update for March 2024. So if you've followed these past few videos on my emergency fund, you will know that I started tracking it when it was at £4,000 at the start of October, and then month on month I've got into this bad habit of dipping into my emergency fund, so that at the end of February, when I recorded my most recent video on my emergency fund, I just had £1,000 in the emergency fund. Now that was still great because my aim is to always have £1,000 easily accessible cash, alongside a another sort of separate emergency fund, which is harder to touch, which is my premium bonds, which are at the end of February I had, I think it was either £1,300 or £1,500 in the premium bonds account. So overall, across premium bonds and this cash emergency fund, I had £2,500. The problem I found is that I don't budget properly, and I end up dipping into my emergency fund. So the way I handle my finances is that I pay myself first at the start of the month. So once all my essential bills are being paid, I will overpay the mortgage, I will put money in my stocks and shares ISA, and then I will put some money in an emergency fund, and then I spend what's left in a pot. But obviously that hasn't been working for me. So what I've tried to start doing in April is really be diligent about spending pots. And I made a video about this, about what my spending pots are, and I made a budgeting video, and I'm really going to stick within what the spending pots are. But anyways, I'll go through the March figures, and you can see what happened in March. I mean, it would be quite easy for us not to post this video at all because it's not really great news on it, but it's in the aim of being transparent about my journey, I thought I'd share. So the starting balance was 1,041. I didn't contribute anything in March. You can see how much this figure has fluctuated month on month, and then I withdrew £1,040. Now, the reason I withdrew so much, I mean, £300 of that was to pay for an event space for a reunion in the summer with some friends. So that cost £300, and I was the organizer for that. So at the moment I've paid for that, so £300 had to come up for that. The other £700 was really just to do with budgeting and wanting to do certain things in the month that I hadn't allocated money for in my spending pots. To be honest, I got to the point at the end of the month when I'd taken all this money out where I just felt really awful about it, and my goal is always to have £1,000 in this emergency fund, and to me, not having that there does make us feel a bit more vulnerable. Now, I know I've got that money in premium bonds, so really my true emergency fund figure is £1,000. And what I might do, to be honest, I sort of want to combine the emergency fund and premium bond update into one video, just because then you can see both balances together, and it's easier for me to view them. But my aim, nonetheless, is to have £1,000 as easily accessible cash. So if I was to lose my job tomorrow, or the boiler was to break tomorrow, I could easily just pay for it out of my cash and then withdraw the premium bonds I need, and that might take a couple of working days to get access to that money. And then the interest that accrued, so because I started the month with some money in that account, I gained 1.62 in interest, so that meant that the final balance was £3. The figures are what they are. I mean, going forward, I discussed this in my budgeting video, I'm really going to be disciplined with myself about the pots, and I've allocated money to different pots, like an experiences pot, an experiences pot, a holidays pot, a groceries pot, and I'm really being disciplined so far this month. So I'm recording this on the 9th of April. So far this month I've been really disciplined about only spending what's within those pots and really saying no to myself when I don't have the money allocated for that pot, because I really need to be better at budgeting. And instead of getting too carried away with putting loads of money in this account at once, my emergency fund. So, it would be quite easy to put £500 in it in April and try and sacrifice lots so that I can build this up quickly back to £1,000. I know that if I do that too soon, what will happen is I'll end up having to dip into it because I won't have given myself enough wiggle room and enough of a budget for other things. So I'm aiming to build this up gradually. Hopefully that by the end of this year, I've got at least £1,000 in it. And I'm very much in the habit of not dipping into it because I've really built up those spending pots. So for example, I'll already have a fully funded holiday pot and a fully funded theatre show experiences pot. So when those things crop up, I'm dipping into those pots rather than dipping into the emergency fund. So that's the update for March. I mean, in some aspects of my personal finance, I am so disciplined. Like, I find it easy to overpay the mortgage. I mean, easy is the wrong word. I'm finding it fine to overpay the mortgage. I find it fine to contribute money to my ISA, but then there's something about this emergency fund and dipping into it. I just need to mentally change the way I approach those pots and really just thinking of this as an emergency fund. So the list of things I want to be withdrawing money from it are for things like the boiler breaking, things like a loss of income, things like just anything going wrong with the flat, fixing a leak, getting a plumber out, all those sort of things. But do let us know if you struggle with similar aspects of your budgeting journey. I've had some great comments on my past few videos with some hints and tips on things I might like to try out. And yeah, I'll catch you on the next video.